All right, let me ask you if you've done this. Have you ever clicked on a request for more info on a business you like on Biz by Sell, and then you wait a few days and you hear nothing? No email, no call, no follow up. So you start thinking, did I say something wrong? Did they already sell it? Did they just not like me? Did I mess up with the NDA? Nope. You just ran into one of the strangest parts of buying a small business. Most brokers don't respond to most buyers. And it's not because they're lazy, it's because of how the system actually works. Hi, I'm John Stoddard from DealFlowSystem.net. I help first time buyers find, fund, and close their first business without getting lost in the noise or ghosted by brokers. And today, I'm going to show you why brokers ignore you, what's really going on behind the scenes, and how to flip the script so they start taking you seriously. Because once you understand how brokers think, you stop chasing deals and start attracting them. All right, chapter one. Brokers aren't your enemy, but they're not your friend either. And this is a line I always use with my students. They don't work for you, but they don't work against you either. Most first time buyers think brokers are on their side. They are a little bit, but that's a little naive. So we have to flip that. What they really are is a marketplace funnel. And their job is pretty simple. They find motivated sellers, they coach those sellers on price, they gather all the financials, and they market the deal quietly or broadly. And they filter buyers fast. That's their world. Everything else is kind of extra. Because to a broker, this isn't about giving everyone a shot. It's about finding the one buyer who can actually close. As Biz Buy Sell puts it, business brokers manage the whole process from helping you prepare your business for sale, finding buyers, negotiating terms, and closing the sale. Notice what they don't say. They don't promise to treat every buyer the same. And they don't promise instant transparency. And they definitely don't promise to answer every email. Their job is to manage their time, manage sellers, and manage risk. And filtering buyers, that's just not arrogance. It's survival. It's how they get paid. All right, chapter two, the broker's world, commission, FOMO, and leverage. Now, let's step into their world for a second. Put their shoes on. Most brokers work on 100% commission. Remember what Charlie Munger said about incentive? Show me what the incentive, I'll show you what the outcome. They don't have any salary. There's no safety net. They only get paid when the deal closes. So yeah, they act like salespeople because they are salespeople. That's why they create FOMO, fear of missing out. You're going to hear lines like, we've got another buyer reviewing it right now, or something like this. Someone's flying in tomorrow to make an offer. And even if they don't, they're playing cards and they may be bluffing. They're just doing what salespeople do, creating urgency. So here's another truth. Sometimes they'll use your offer as leverage. Your LOI becomes the stick they use to push another buyer forward. If you think you're in the lead, but really you're just a tool in negotiation, that is not personal. It's the game. Once you understand that, you stop taking it emotionally and start playing strategically, like cards. All right, chapter three, good brokers versus bad brokers. Now, all brokers aren't created equal. Some just started, some have been doing it for 20 years. There are good brokers, then there are bad ones. Here's what you'll see with good brokers. They will price the business realistically. They know what business will move off the shelf real quick. They're going to share clean, accurate financials, and they'll call you back. And they're going to keep communication flowing between you two and the seller. They also bridge the gap between the buyer and the seller and focus on deals that actually close, meaning they'll go look at a deal or business and say, hey, are you interested in selling? And say, yes. They took a look at it. It's a mess. It's probably not going to sell. Say no. They're going to pass on that. Now, bad brokers, they're going to do the opposite. They're going to inflate valuations just to win listings. They may hide or cherry pick the numbers. The SIM is a marketing document. They're probably going to ghost buyers after the NDA. They'll block contact with the seller. Like, you have to show me what's in your kimono before I give you access to the seller. And they refuse to negotiate with between the buyer and seller about issues. Let's say if there's a part of the business that's all cash. You're not going to buy that because you can't get a loan on it. So you have to work out some agreement, creative financing on that deal. Or worse, they may play games to protect their commission. I saw a bad broker once overprice a $1 million business at $1.8 million, and they tell you, hey, you're just not serious enough. I've seen it where they slow walk the sim, ignore the questions, or call it confidentiality. Translation, they really don't have their act together. So here's the move on this. Learn to read the bad brokers fast. And when you find a good one, build that relationship, because if you don't get the deal you're looking at now, the next deal might be in your favor. When you find a bad broker, you should probably walk away. All right, chapter 4, the buyer's frustration. From your side, it feels broken. You sign that NDA, you expect a quick response, and instead, crickets. You follow up, you get the one-liners, the seller's reviewing inquiries. You wait another week, still nothing. It feels like they're playing games. And honestly, sometimes they are. But here's the thing. They're not trying to annoy you. They're trying to protect their time. Biz by Sell ran a survey that said 70% of buyers feel brokers overcomplicate the process. And they're right. But there's a reason behind that chaos. All right. Chapter 5, the broker's reality check. Here's what's really happening on the other side. According to the International Business Brokers Association, about 70 to 80% of inquiries come from buyers who can't close. They don't have the money. They don't have the capital, no plan, no follow through. So these business brokers, the good ones, build filters. They judge by how you write your first email, how fast you respond, whether you sound credible, whether you have the financing ready. They're sorting buyers like lenders sort applications by probability of closing. And here's something Sunbelt says right on their website. Some businesses valued at $2 million never get advertised online. They target select groups and individuals. So what does that mean to you, a first-time buyer? You're not being ignored. You're late to the party. By the time you see the listing, serious buyers have already been in the room. All right, chapter 6, the math behind the science. Let's do the math here. A broker is going to get about 20 listings, per year, let's say. Maybe each one gets about 150 inquiries. That's 3,000 emails a year. Now, even if they reply to 10%, that's still 300 conversations. And there aren't enough hours in the week, so they have to prioritize. They reply to buyers who look sharp, who are funded, and are focused. So you're not being ignored, you're being sorted, like the sorting hat from Harry Potter. So once you realize that, you stop chasing inboxes and you start building your credibility. All right, chapter 7, what good brokers actually do. All right. So I'm not going to bash brokers too hard here. So let's give credit where it's due. Good brokers are really deal managers, and they're part-time psychologists and kind of air traffic controllers. They also manage confidentiality. They're going to coordinate lenders, even set you up with accountants or attorneys. And they hold the deal together when everyone's losing their minds. Like, here's what Sunbelt says. He goes, they analyze, prepare, develop marketing assets, and they launch promotions, screen buyers, manage, and expedite due diligence close. That's a real job, and it takes a long time to close. Sometimes you'll get an offer and it'll fall out. They have to remarket it to the list again. And it's why they can't reply to every single NDA request that hits their inbox. All right, chapter 8, why SIMs, confidential information memorandums, are often off. So let's tackle this one last frustration. Why are SIMs so bad sometimes? or just so long, 40 pages, and all you need to see are two, which are the financials. Because selling a business isn't like selling a house. There's no MLS, no standard format. Every deal has emotion, risk, and moving targets. A sim is marketing, but it's not gospel. And the value that comes out of that is what a qualified buyer is willing to pay today. That's based on current verifiable cash flow, not what the seller hopes the business is worth, not the 10 years of blood, sweat, and tears. So they're going to try to market this as much as possible to entice you to purchase or take interest and dive deeper. All right, chapter 9, how to get brokers to actually respond. This is a technical suggestion here. How do you stand out? How do you get brokers to take you seriously? You do that by writing real specific message. Let's say the business broker is Sarah. Sarah, I saw your listing for the plumbing company in Dallas. I've run a service company before and I'm pre-qualified for SBA financing. And you could tell them how much you have saved for down payment. Can we hop on a quick call? What do you think happens when they see that? You're going to attach proof of funds for pre-approval. You're going to follow up quickly. You're going to ask smart questions and always leave the door open. So you're going to say like something like this. If the deal's already under LOI, please keep me in mind for similar ones. So when the broker realizes you're credible, you'll start getting early looks. And sometimes before the listing even goes public, you're going to get on their hot list, which is what you want. All right, chapter 10, the mindset shift. Here's the mindset shift I want you to take away. Stop chasing these brokers. Start attracting them. Because once they see you as a closer, meaning you have the experience, the ability to purchase the business, and the funds to purchase the business, this dynamic is going to flip. They're going to call you first. They're going to remember, like, if a deal falls out, you're the first one on the list. Like, hey, that guy had the money. He was ready to go. He had the experience. They'll whisper off-market deals to you. Hey, I've got something in my pocket. It's coming down the road. Tells me he wants to sell it. You'd be a perfect fit for this. That doesn't mean they're not going to say this same thing to about 3 other people. They will help you structure this win. And that's how serious buyers play the game. You don't get paid for your effort here. You're going to pay for results. So show results, show clarity, show confidence. If a broker isn't replying to you, good. You can either let it go or you can reach out on X or LinkedIn or somewhere and keep pushing them to answer, like the squeaky wheel gets the grease kind of deal. Now you know why. Now you know what to fix. And now you're leveling up your game. All right. I'm John Stoddard from dealflowsystem.net. If you're serious about buying your first business without getting ghosted by brokers, and if you need help, go over to dealflowsystem.net. You can apply to work with me. I'll see you on the next one.